The GM paradox, a premature exit. Digital Research's pioneering GUI failed on the PC but thrived on the Atari ST, a tale of strategic missteps and market misalignment. The story of GM Graphical Environment Manager represents a critical inflection point in personal computing history, where a technically viable product was strategically outmaneuvered.
Developed by Digital Research DRI, the creators of CP/M, GM shipped in February 1985, nearly 9 months before Microsoft's Windows 1.0, securing a first-mover advantage in the IBM PC GUI market. However, its trajectory was immediately hampered by lack of native software and performance constraints on the prevalent 4.77 MHz 8088 CPUs.
More critically, a lawsuit from Apple forced DRI to settle and remove key user interface elements, rendering the PC version unnecessarily clunky and stripping it of its competitive elegance against the Macintosh paradigm it emulated.
The 1985 GUI battleground early technical parity was overshadowed by legal and ecosystem vulnerabilities. The initial market context in 1985 presented a unique opportunity. The IBM PC architecture was ripe for a graphical shell, and GEM's lineage from Xerox PARC developers gave it credible foundations.
Its similarity to the Apple Lisa, however, made it a legal target. While GM found a niche in Europe with OEM like Amstrad and Atari, its failure to secure agreements with major
PC manufacturers like IBM, Compaq or Dell proved fatal. This contrasted sharply with Microsoft's strategy, which leveraged its DOS dominance to embed Windows into broader OEM contracts.
The technological landscape was equally decisive. The hardware of the mid-80s simply could not gracefully run a memory-intensive GUI, creating a market window that neither GSM nor the early versions of Windows could effectively exploit until processor power caught up.
Strategic failure, ecosystem over-engineering. GEM's demise was not a technological failure but a collapse of developer and OEM support. The core analytical argument is that Digital Research misjudged the required endurance for platform wars, discontinuing GM in 1988 just as the hardware inflection point approached.
By 1990, the perfect storm emerged. Affordable 386 CPUs provided the necessary performance, and Windows 3.0 offered our improved, albeit still marginal, user experience. DRI's retreat ceded the entire evolving market.
Conversely, on the Atari ST, GEM flourished as the default tightly integrated operating environment. The ST's 8 MHz Motorola 68000 CPU, roughly equivalent to a contemporary 386SX, provided ample performance, and the platform's unified hardware-software stack ensured third-party developer commitment until software piracy eroded that very ecosystem in the late 1980s.
Verdict: a legacy of missed timing. GM exemplifies how strategic patience and ecosystem building outweigh isolated technical launches. The final assessment positions GM as a casualty of poor strategic timing and insufficient market fortification.
Had DRI sustained development for 2 more years, leveraging the 1990 hardware revolution, it could have posed a credible challenge to Windows, particularly in its stronger European markets. However, Microsoft's entrenched OEM relationships and broader platform ambition likely would have prevailed regardless.
The Atari ST chapter proves GEM's technical viability but also highlights the fragility of niche platforms. The key lesson is that in platform competition, legal strategy, developer mindshare, and OEM distribution are ultimately more decisive than a 9-month head start or competent engineering, a paradigm that continues to define tech ecosystem battles today.